Hi guys, this is Simon. Just going to give you a video update because I haven't done one for a while. Unfortunately, this video update comes when I'm at a pretty low ebb regarding this process, to be honest with you, which I'll explain a bit more about as we go on. I've done a few videos personally in the interim period, but not uploaded them to the YouTube channel or to Twitter, etc., because I didn't think they were fit for public consumption, to be perfectly honest with you. So where we're at now, if you remember the last video I put up, which must have been about a month, 6 weeks ago, everything was hunky-dory. I was clicking my heels with excitement and we were all sorted. Technicolor have said you can have the negative, we just need to sort out a date when you and Richard can get it, and away we go. Richard had organised a company that was going to restore the negative and we were all sorted. I was so excited, you would not believe it. We are now in a position where we've had a complete about turn from Technicolor, and as it stands, it isn't going to happen. Basically, Technicolor have got very cold feet via their own legal department. What has happened is that Mary, the lady at Technicolor that Richard and I have been dealing with, has now been spoken to by Technicolor's legal department, who have basically said there is no way we can have the negative if there is the possibility that somebody will come forward and say, I own that film, why the hell have you given them the negative to re-release? I'm suing you. So that's where we stand. Basically, Technicolor have said we cannot have the negative because they are worried that they will be sued by somebody somewhere coming forward saying, I am the legal owner of this film. Now, the problem where the problem lies is that the last known owners of the film were Albion Films. Now, Albion Films was Julian Melzack, a one-man show. Now, I have already got the documents and proved and given to Technicolor the documentation from Companies House and everywhere else that Albion Films was liquidated and dissolved in the 1990s, and Julian Melzack died in 2016. Now, that is a thing that will haunt me for years to come. If anybody, and I mean anybody, had approached Julian Melzack before he died in 2016, this would have been done and dusted. It would have been handed over, restored, re-released, out there for everybody to enjoy, no questions asked. When did I start this quest? 2016. Literally a couple of months after Julian Melzack passed away, without me knowing about it, obviously. So, although I have proved that Julian Melzack is dead and Albion Films don't exist anymore, in Technicolor's eyes, or in Technicolor's legal team's eyes, they're saying, well, a company can't just be dissolved with their assets going into the ether. You know, their assets, i.e. the film that Julian Melzack's Albion Films owned the rights to, has to have been passed on to somebody. Now, how on earth I could find that out, I have no idea. You know, Julian is dead, the company is dissolved. How can I possibly know? You know, there is no paper trail to say that that he gave the rights to anybody. So I really don't know how I can prove this. The only possible lead I have is that Julian had a daughter, Sophie, who I am now trying to get in touch with. Incidentally, she was born in May 78. The month Full Circle was released in the UK and France, which is ironic. I am trying to get in touch with her to say, look, do you know anything about this? If she doesn't, I honestly don't know where we go. You know, I've spoken to Richard about it. Richard has spoken to Technicolor, and in Richard's words, they have dialed us right back to when we started this thing 3 years ago. And being brutally honest, I have now got to the situation where I am very, very close to having had enough, to be perfectly honest with you. I have a mental swingometer where, you know, this way is it's definitely going to happen, this way is it ain't going to happen ever. And for the last year or so, I have been in the this is going to happen for the first time it has now swung the other way, and I'm like, Christ's sake, they're not going to let us have this. They're not going to let us re-release it. And that is insanely frustrating. I must admit, I'm at a very low ebb. This is stressing me out. It's depressing me. I don't mind admitting to you guys that I have issues with stress, depression anyway. I have to go to see doctors about it to keep myself in check. And to be perfectly honest, it's getting to the stage where I really don't need this hassle in my life. Things are tough enough as it is, and it is just so frustrating. I make progress and I think we're there, and then somebody puts an obstacle in the way, and you think, oh, right, okay, so you have to take a few months out to find a way over or around that obstacle, and you say, there you go, I've removed that obstacle, are we good to go now? And then they say, oh, actually, thinking about it, there's now this obstacle as well. And it's like, for fuck's sake, why is it, is this worth it? I suppose is the way. Part of me is thinking, of course it's worth it because you want this film to be out there, but it's like, but another part of me is like, this is not doing me any good, and so I don't know. I honestly don't know where I stand with it. A decision I have made, and this connects with the Twitter feed as well, is that I'm pretty much setting myself a cut-off point, if you like, of the end of May this year. If things have not significantly improved by then, I am very strongly going to consider pulling the plug on the whole thing, to be honest with you, because this is now 3 years that I have been doing this, and we are no closer to getting it resolved than when I sat down to watch it again on YouTube 3 years ago. And that is eating away at me, to be perfectly honest with you, and it's, I'm sure you guys can appreciate just how insanely frustrating it is. Regards to the Twitter account, that brings its own level of frustration, because the number, I don't know what exactly I hoped for or anticipated happening with the Twitter account, but I certainly hoped / expected to have more than 100 or so followers, 4 or 5 months after setting it up. In fact, the number of followers I have hasn't gone up in 2 months. A couple of people join, then if you don't follow them back, they unfollow you, and you think, oh, right, so you were only actually joining to get me to follow you back, not be that you like Full Circle. And it's just, every day I'm uploading stuff, and I'm putting cool stuff, and I'm commenting on things, and I'm replying to people, and I'm engaging with people, and it's just having no traction whatsoever. A couple of classic examples for you is that, I'm not going to name names, obviously, because I'm not that type of guy, but, there was somebody that I follow that put up a piece about a month or so, 6 weeks ago, saying, why don't we ever talk about how amazing Full Circle and the Haunting of Julia is? And that tweet had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of likes from people. And so I replied to the person and said, I talk about it all the time because I'm trying to get the film re-released. So any chance you could follow the account and give us a shout out? No reply. No reply from that person. Didn't reply, didn't like my tweet, didn't reply to it, didn't help in any way. And that has happened countless times. Anytime anybody mentions Full Circle or the Haunting of Julia anywhere on social media, I sort of jump in and say, if you like this film, guys, give me a follow, because I'm working my backside off to try and get this back out there. And nobody does. And you just think, why the hell am I actually bothering, when all this is doing is actually getting me down, you know. So it's getting to the stage, as I say, where I just don't need this shit anymore. You know, there's enough stress going on in my life that I don't need to be banging my head against a brick wall or having doors shut in my face, you know, and I know I shouldn't get this emotionally involved in it and react this much, but I do, because I've taken this thing so personally, and there has to be a line in the sand. You know, there has to be a line in the sand. I cannot be 10, 15 years down the line still trying to sort this and not getting anywhere. So, as I said, I'm going to give it another month. May is obviously the month it was re-released. It was released originally in the UK and France and a few other European countries. So I'll do a little bit in May, but just to give you a heads up, this isn't quite, you know, the last recorded message from the crew of the Nostromo quite yet. But yeah, I'm pretty much going to, you know, say that if we don't make any headway with Technicolor in the next month, or if I don't suddenly get this burst of engagement or appreciation, really, you know, whenever I put a post up, I've got 118 followers, I think, on Twitter at the moment, 119, and yet whenever I put a post up, I can pretty much guarantee I'll get 6 people like it, and it'll be the same ones every time. You know, Graham, Anya, Suspirio, Guillem, you know, these, if I'm a Christian, you know, if I haven't, I apologize if I've missed you out there, but it's the same people. You know, and it's just like, I'm not quite sure why I'm doing this, you know, and all I'm doing is ironically going round and round in circles and not getting anywhere, and just getting down and depressed and frustrated about it. Yeah, there's Steph is another one that likes us. Jenny, you know, I apologize, but I've just got to the stage now where I've got to seriously consider calling it a day, because it's just not happening. You know, it's just not happening. So that's where we're at. So it's May the 1st, 2019. I'll update as and when I can. But yeah, that's where we're at, guys. Okay, thanks if you watch this. Thanks, and yeah, I appreciate it.